Hi, this is Hank Kobler with ExtraPointFootball.com.
This week's Try This video is about one of the most compelling storylines of the weekend, the return of Eagles quarterback Michael Vick's speed and elusiveness, as well as the massive improvements he's made in his passing. 2nd and 1 late in the fourth quarter, trying to guide his team up the field for a game-tying touchdown. Vick drops back to pass in the shotgun, sees how heavily the defense is guarding the pass, and he scrambles and picks up more than enough yards to get the first down. 4 plays later, it's 4th and 1, and Vick lines up in a very similar formation, but this time runs immediately up the middle and is stopped for no gain.
The main reason that the 2nd and 1 play worked and the 4th and 1 play didn't, based on down and distance being similar, is that even though there were similar formations and the like, in the first play, Vick dropped back to pass, let the defense develop a little more, and then ran. Whereas in the 4th and 1 play, Andy Reid called the play where Vick immediately had to run up the middle. So on this 2nd and 1, Green Bay lines up in a nickel defense based off of the 3 wide receivers. Now normally you wouldn't have to necessarily go to nickel against Vick back when he was in Atlanta because his accuracy was really poor and he made up for it just by scrambling around and buying time. However, because of his improvement in his passing ability, they put 2 men deep. This opened up, they rushed this outside linebacker off the right tackle, this one between the right guard and right tackle, and they tried to have this end, or this linebacker, come around tight end Brent Selleck. Selleck held his block very well, and then the left tackle held his blocks as well. He chipped this guy, then moved on to the linebacker, and they had 2 linebackers trying to read on Mike Vick, just to make sure he didn't run. They tried to spy him, but 2 wasn't enough. The center moved up and blocked this one, left tackle moved up and blocked this one, while left guard blocks this guy. So Vick was able to find the massive hole and just run straight through it for the first down as seen on the video, while the receivers immediately blocked because it was designed as a run play, I believe, from what it looks like, but they wanted Vick to drop back to pass in order to draw the defense back a little bit, and that's exactly what happened here when this receiver went straight up the field. Now on 4th and 1, a few plays later, this time they've taken one man and moved him up here, free safety Nick Collins. That was a Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator. Don Capers got a little creative there and put him here. What you see here is this rusher comes around the outside of the right tackle, beats him a little. Right guard and the center both hit this rusher and frees him up. This rusher gets knocked back pretty well by the left guard. Left tackle takes care of business here. Tight end Brent Selleck isn't able to hold his block when the rusher bowls past him to the inside. The running back comes up, tries to block him, while Vick has immediately started running. So the defense, these men haven't backed off or anything. Neither has Nick Collins. He hasn't worried about having to drop back and worry about the receiver on a pass. So while running back is engaged with this rusher, this frees up Collins to come around, wrap Vick up behind the line of scrimmage about here, and stop him from gaining the yard he needed. And the biggest thing right here is Selleck's block not being held. This meant the running back was not able to pick up Collins on the blitz. Possibly he wouldn't have gotten the yard anyway had Selleck not picked up that block and held it, but with this guy here to read the quarterback, he was too far over for the play to really be a factor, and of course this guy was too deep. So Collins being freed up to make that tackle saved the game for the Packers, and it was a huge deal.
The Tennessee Titans were a lot more successful with their mobile quarterback Vince Young, who threw for 2 touchdowns, including this 56-yarder to Nate Washington on a play-action rollout.
Now installing this play into the Eagles playbook would involve flipping the play because Vick is left-handed and Young is right-handed, but aside from that it would be the exact same concepts. You'd have your tight end run a little slant type route across the field, and your receiver to the right would come into the backfield and run in front of the quarterback. On top of that, your left receiver would run a deep flag route. And so the purpose of this is so you have 3 receivers running in conjunction in the same direction as the quarterback, which when the quarterback's on the scramble, he's a lot more accurate when throwing to a player who is running in the same direction as him. But you have the line with the play action going on here. You have the whole line faking right, the running back going to the right. So the defense should really bite on it, especially when you have a pretty good runner in your backfield, such as LaShawn McCoy. And then your tight end out here with your tight end split, this allows your right tight end to run the route a little more freely without getting jammed by a defensive end. And here, it allows the tight end, well, if the defense thought this was a running play, it would just look like the tight end was blocking, trying to just hit one guy to keep him from chasing after the runner. But in reality, this tight end also serves the purpose of protecting the quarterback on his rollout, because this is a naked bootleg where there's not anybody in front of him protecting the way where he's running to. But what there is this prevents a defensive end or a linebacker from sneaking in here and hitting the quarterback before the play is allowed to develop. So this style play designed by Mike Heimerdinger of the Tennessee Titans would really work well for the Eagles and their quarterback skill set as well, and could definitely help ease some of their short yardage woes that they've had for years in Philadelphia.